Hello, everybody. This is Hope Mama Eagle with Infinite Blessings. Welcome to our very first in one of many Twinflame Tuesdays. I myself am a divine feminine who has been on this divine journey for enough time to know what works and what doesn't. I was guided from almost the first point that I started to revamp this channel that there's a lot of channels on here that are channeling the divine masculine. And while my divine masculine and I have a very strong telepathic connection, sometimes I call it telepathic ping pong. For some reason, a lot of the energy that I'm picking up today has to do with more of the divine feminine. So we all have divine feminine, we all have masculine within us. It's funny because I'm a triple Aquarius, and Aquarius is a masculine sign, so kind of sort of makes sense. But this is the first time that I am using the Twin Flame Oracle on this channel by Dr. V, and she's absolutely amazing. These cards are absolutely amazing. The imageries are very eclectic and diverse, but the cards sing is how I'll put it. My daughter did get me one of the stands for my phone, bless her heart. So as we are journeying north to find our roots and our wings, I'm just going to work with what works, because I was going to wait to get that all set up. Ancestors said, nope, somebody needs to hear this now. And it's important for you to share your journey from a very unique perspective. So everyone is guided to share their journey in different ways. My twin flame journey is a bit of a trifecta, as you would call it. My twin is someone who is in the limelight quite a bit for different reasons. We were both recognized by the same Venerable High Lama in Tibet, not only for our connection in this lifetime, but for our connection in past lives as well. He was recognized as the reincarnation of Padmasambhava, and I was recognized as the reincarnation of Surya Khandra City. So if you have any Tibetan historical knowledge pre-13th century, that will make sense. If you are going to study Tibetan Buddhism, especially from a female perspective, I would recommend studying pre-13th century, just because that was about the time where the Dakini, which is part of what I am, were thought to be gaining too much power, and they were removed from the sacred texts and referred to as mere esoteric consorts. The reason that I'm bringing up Dakini energy is because the Dakini is also synonymous with twin flame. Dakini literally translates to sky traveler, because Dakinis are able to travel in spirit, travel in their dreams, and beyond. A lot of times we call it Milam, which is beyond the dream time. So I have two unique perspectives. There goes my throat chakra. This is the first time of me really sharing this story, you guys, so a lot of it will be coming out in my memoir, which hopefully my divine masculine will be getting back in touch physically in a good way, beyond all the nonsense he's had to deal with, so that we can actually put our heads and hearts together and piece the rest and best of the story together to share with people, to inspire and empower them above and beyond karmic shiz and fizz and all that nonsense. So if you hear my throat chakra like now, again, it's funny because part of it is me, part of it is my divine masculine, and like, wait for me, you know. But the two unique perspectives I have are actually three, because my background is Native American, French, and Irish predominantly, and then very strong Tibetan past life and Tibetan teachers and recognitions in this life. But I've worked with Hermetic elders that referred to my divine masculine as my Anamkara, which is a Gaelic word, Celtic word that it means soul warrior twin. My grandma was descended from one of the most powerful shamans in Lakota history, and she would refer to my divine masculine specifically since she knew his mother. But also, in general, she would tell the story of twin stars that were in the heavens and saw, they were merged together in the heavens as one star, and saw that Earth was suffering, and so they selflessly split in two and went to opposite sides of the Earth to try and help even faster. And now, with everything going on in the world, with the Hertz rhythm speeding up, with the age of Aquarius, everything else going on, these twin stars are being magnetized back together. Now, part of the Celtic association, every culture really that you look at has a legend about twin flames. The Hermetic is also connected to 144,000 angels. My buddy George was one of the highest ranking Hermetic elders in the United States and was so certain that my divine masculine and I were twin flames since he worked with him in Louisiana and beyond. That he did a distance hand fasting ceremony for the both of us because he knew how stubborn we were individually and collectively. And he also knew the challenges that my divine masculine and I would face individually and collectively. So he took it upon himself, as a close friend of my divine masculine, to do this distance hermetic hand fasting to protect us on all levels, seen and unseen. Protect us from anyone that would try to disrupt our connection, dissolve our connection, defame our connection, etc., because he knew the power of us being able to come back together. And I even have friends of mine in high and interesting places in the political arenas that have come to me begging me not to give up on my divine masculine because they know that he and I, even talking on the phone, let alone reconnecting face to face, is quote unquote the greatest hope for our nation and beyond. So, all twin flame connections are important. Don't think that because your twin flame is somebody down the street or that you haven't met them or what have you, or isn't in the limelight, or, everybody's connection is important, and sometimes, the guy next door is actually, less complicated. Sometimes it's more complicated. That's part of why I am publishing my memoir, because it talks about how highlighting Om in any situation, including the twin flame journey, really helps to uncomplicate things, at least in the 5D and 4D, which then, filters into the 3D, because matter always flows from spirit. So there's a lot of intricacies and aspects and uniqueness to the twin flame journey. Part of what I do, because I've been on this journey so long, from so many different cultural perspectives, excuse me, is that, those perspectives, along with the elders that I've been blessed to work with in the Hermetic traditions and the Native American traditions and the Tibetan traditions, really helps me to tune in to people's connections. And I get people calling, reaching out all the time, wanting to know, is my connection a twin flame connection? And the best determiner for that is really tuning in with your ancestors, because when it is a true twin flame connection, and this is coming from all across the board, this is coming from the Native elders, the Hermetic elders, the Tibetan elders, elders in New Orleans, it's an ancestral connection. It's not just this lifetime. It's not just you guys having walked together lifetime after lifetime. It's not just, seeing a map that goes home reflected in their eyes, or feeling home when you hear their voice or you see them or you hug them. Your ancestors, your honorable ancestors, have brought you guys together for a reason, have moved heaven and earth, have rearranged whatever needed to be arranged to bring you guys together for a reason. And from a Tibetan perspective, as a Dakini, another word for twin flame is a tantric healing equal, because nobody's gonna equal your twin flame, in or out of the bedroom, the kitchen, the dojo, the forest, whatever you want to say, like your twin flame, your tantric healing equal. And tantra isn't just about, doing the tantric tango. Tantra is about raising vibrations to heal self, heal others, and raise the vibration of the entire planet. And that's what this amazing, incomparable twin flame connection is all about. And what's interesting is, when I was pulling these cards earlier, I was guided, okay, which perspective am I doing this from? And obviously, divine feminine, divine masculine. But I'll show you in a second that, well, I can kind of like show from here. The card that they're putting in the center is the card that, transformation. Butterflies have been all over the place. It's just amazing. So, transformation, there's a lot of transformation taking place right now. Yes, Mercury is in retrograde, but again, it's retrograde in Aquarius, so it's kind of like back to the future. It's funny because I always joke with my twin that he's like an elephant, because haha, elevating elephants, right? Elephants are massive. They're incredibly sensitive. They're incredibly protective. They're incredibly intuitive, and they never forget. And so with twin flames, it's kind of the same thing. No matter, if you're blessed to, because, not all twin flames connect in the physical lifetime to lifetime. So if you're blessed to connect with your twin flame in this lifetime, it's an honor. It's about you guys recognizing each other, honoring each other, helping each other above and beyond in the physical, and the more that people try to sabotage your connection, the more that people try and defame your connection, dismiss your connection, whatever it is, the more powerful and important your connection really is. And the only person, or I should say the only energy that can determine a twin flame connection besides your ancestors is, your creator. Because there's always a bigger plan. So, my personal journey, um, I was dreaming of my twin flame before I ever even saw him, before I even knew he existed, before any of that. Um, I remember, oh my gosh, back as far as being in my teens, I would dream that there was this massive person standing behind me with a golden aura. And those of you that know how to read the colors of aura, golden auras are very, very rare. In Tibet, it actually denotes like a holy person, and all I knew is that this energy, oh, it's funny, my phone is panning to the King of Wands. Um, all I knew is that this energy was protecting me above and beyond, that it was loving me unconditionally in the midst of a lot of challenges that I was going through at that time with being truly seen, being truly heard, being valued, as an ancient soul in a young body. And as I got older and older, that energy was still with me. And it wasn't until I hit, oh geez, 23, 24, that I was even physically connecting with my twin or figuring out, who he was, or realizing that my grandmother knew his mother, or, any of the phenomenal connections that are always present in a twin flame connection. So I could sit here and I could tell you that, my sensei, who's in the Black Belt Hall of Fame, worked with Muhammad Ali, who also knew my twin and begged me, to connect with him and help him and all that jazz. I mean, you guys are going to read a lot about my story honoring him, putting respect back on his name that should have been there the whole time. And a lot of this is things that I've been guided to share by mutual friends of ours, that never gave up on him, never gave up on me, despite, the worst of the worst that tried their best to literally destroy us. And it's funny because I'm sitting here thinking of one of my fellow readers here on YouTube. Her name is Spiritual Sag. Y'all got to go check her out. I guarantee, she was in New Orleans in a past life, because I started watching her channel, and, I went through a period where I really wasn't talking much about my twin flame journey. There goes my throat chakra again. Just because, I literally did have people coming after me, trying to destroy me, to prevent me from getting messages to my twin, warning him that they were trying to destroy him. And now I'm just sitting here wishing a bitch would. That's what Spiritual Sag always says. And seriously, that's kind of the point I was at the last time I saw my twin, which was hilarious, because when you see the two of us together, George nailed it. George is like, y'all have been married in so many other lifetimes. It's only a matter of time. I'm doing this Hermetic ceremony, and, I'm a 33rd degree Master Mason. If anyone has a problem with it, they can go smudge themselves, or they can come talk to me. So George is a riot, nobody messes with George, including my twin. Somebody's going to get this video to him and he's just going to be like, holy shit, But anyway, when you've got people that powerful, the thing most people don't understand about this twin flame connection is that Hermetic elders literally during the Renaissance were tortured because they were tortured to death because they refused to give up information that would have sabotaged twin flame reunions that would be happening now, to stop unholy opposition from their nefarious goals and everything else going on right now. So, if you know anything about hermetics, you know anything about hermetic elders, I know there's a lot of hojy pojy out there saying that, a lot of this stuff that's going on in the world is because of the Masons, blah, 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 And anytime that you look at an organization like that, you're going to have people that are in it for the right reasons. You're going to have people that are in it for the wrong reasons. I personally can say that my buddy George was in it for the right reasons, that, the Native American elders that I know that are involved are in it for the right reasons, and we all have a piece of the puzzle. So when people go into something like that, that has ancient spiritual knowledge and wisdom, and they connect with it from their hearts, they work with it from their hearts, there's always going to be people that are in fear or are greedy, that want to tap into that can't, that are going to try and destroy it the same way people tried to come after me and my twin. But the bottom line is, the sacred protects the sacred. The sacred always trumps, transcends, and transforms the profane. And the only people that are going to have a problem with that are people that, have gotten away from the true teachings, have gotten away from their heart, or are trying to, manipulate other people, and you can't manipulate the sacred. You just can't. So, when I look at my connection and I look at the native elders and the Hermetic elders and the Tibetan elders and the Nolans elders, who went completely out of their way to get a hold of me, begging me not to give up on him. The Hawaiian kahuna that I talk about, who entrusted me with carrying on his practice and his loving memory, called me on his deathbed. He had contracted throat cancer, could barely speak, calls me on his deathbed. The last thing he said to me: whatever happens, do not give up on your twin, because the work that you're going to do to help each other, the work you're going to do to help the world, is that important. And if you give up on him, whether he understands, whether he thanks you, whether he's too afraid of all these Mickey Mouse whatever to pick up the phone and call you, you're his lifeline. And the minute that you stop praying for him, the minute you, give up on him, he drops, and it's like the world losing Superman, literally. So, don't let anybody try and tell you this, that, and the other about your connection. I can help you to clarify, if the connection that you have is a karmic connection, which is another word for a soul tie, if it's a soulmate connection, if it's a twin flame connection, if, it's something that is better on the 5D, the 4D, the 3D for right now, what may be slowing it down, what you may need to work on, what your twin may need to work on. But, ultimately there's a pattern. Your ancestors bless you to reconnect with each other in the physical. You tend to have dreams about them beforehand. People start talking about them at random, hey, you should meet this person, what have you. And then the coincidences, or, you're seeing their birth date or the year they were born, or their name or their mother's name or their son's name or their daughter, it's just sacred, anything you can think of, sacred geometry, numerology, all of that is going to be interconnected, because it's a sacred journey from start to finish. Usually what happens with a twin flame journey is that you connect, and then there's a period of what feels like separation, but it's not separation, it's preparation. Sometimes one or both of you goes towards a karmic energy. A karmic is anything of a lower vibration that, serves a purpose. I mean, everything serves a purpose, but generally that purpose is to help heal childhood wounds that could slow down the work that you're meant to do here. Karmics tend to be either people or situations that are only capable of offering conditional love, conditional support, conditional acceptance, that, backs you and or your twin into a corner so that you have to get stronger. You have to get wiser. You have to get clearer. You have to get more motivated. You have to heal those situations in your past so you can gain the clarity in your present, so that you can empower your future, not just individually, but collectively, because the journey is never just about you, and it's never just about you and your twin. There's always a much bigger application. There's always a much bigger reason and purpose that you're here. And it always has to do with helping Earth Mother and all her children. So, the beginning of the journey is loving yourself. And sometimes, you meet this person and, oh my gosh, we're made for each other. We're heaven sent, If you guys heard the song that I posted below this, my twin and I, when you combine our name, you literally spell heaven. And, to think how much hell that we've been through, knowing that us reconnecting will literally spell heaven. And that didn't come from me. That didn't come from my elders. That came from his mother pointing that out. And, his mom is now in heaven. So hence ancestors, the ancestors are always going to be on the right side of your twin flame connection. And what I mean by that is right thought, right speech, right action. For the most part, people that try to defame your connection, delay your connection, dismiss your connection, unfortunately, a lot of that either comes from ignorance or it comes from ego. Ignorance in the fact that they're not on this path. They couldn't understand it, even if, somebody decoded it for them with a magical magnifying glass. And that's okay. We all have our partners. We all have our path in this lifetime. My daughter's texting me right now. She's hearing a song that my twin flame wrote in her head. So that this is what I'm telling you guys. I know somebody just got goosebumps because I did. Telling you that me sharing this journey isn't just helping me, it's helping my twin to get beyond his fear, false evidence appearing real. It's helping him to understand that, these karmics, my ancestors call it deja punani, that he keeps running to, are people that are wounded, that are not capable of showing him unconditional love, that are reflecting the parts of him as a child that he needs to heal, and these karmics, basically try and, I don't know if you guys know the story of the elephants in Thailand, but, not just Thailand, but other parts of the world, they take these baby elephants and they chain them to a tree. And as the elephant grows, it starts to feel so powerless that by the time it's a grown adult that could literally step on one of these people and squish them, all they have to do is tie a string from that massive elephant to a plastic chair, and the elephant will stay there. Because in its mind, it's convinced itself that it's powerless. It's convinced itself that it will never have freedom. It's convinced itself that it has to settle for conditional love, conditional support. And so it's interesting we're getting these elephants because not only is elephant Ganesh, which is the energy that protects and blesses everything, including twin flame connections, but The red string of fate is what connects twin flames together. So that red string is another indication of a twin flame. And look, I've got the red outlines around these hearts, right? And in the center of these hearts is heart of gold. Why? Because twin flames, 144,000 angels that were sent to earth to help when it's needed most, are not only connected by a red string, but they identify each other by their heart of gold. You know, it's priceless. They don't identify by, you know, oh, you have this much money, or you do this job, or you do that job. And a lot of times, twin flames, they're not identical. You know, it's more of an indication soulmates can be identical. You know, soulmates. It's like looking in a mirror. You know, they have a lot of things in common. Twin flames often are very different. You know, in age. You know, my twin and I have an age difference. You know, emotionally we're the same age, spiritually we're the same age. You know, but in Earth years, you know, he came here first and tried to do whatever he could on his own. And, you know, when he decided he needed more support, then he called me in, you know. And I remember the first time that I actually saw my twin in person, one of the first things he said to me was that he couldn't believe that he had to wait 25 years to see me again, because that's what he had felt like. That, you know, his whole life that I had been missing. And all of a sudden, you know, 25 years, here I come. And it took that long for miracles to connect, and connecting with this person and that person, and my grandma, you know, telling me the story that she told me, and his mom reaching out to me, and mutual friends, and, you know, the whole thing. So it's miracles. You know, the whole thing is a miracle. Even when you're in separation, which I call preparation, you know, it's a miracle. So that red string can tangle, you know, it can stretch, it can get dusty, it can get dirty, it can, you know, you could be in California, they could be in Siberia, but that red string will never break. And the further that you guys move away from each other emotionally, the red string is kind of sort of like elastic, you know, it starts to kind of tug back. And you and your twin always have free will, you know, and people ask me, it's like, how can you have a twin flame connection and still have free will? You know, in my situation, you know, I told you how we were recognized by Venerable High Lama. So theoretically, when you're recognized as someone's Dakini, you know, you're the person that is going to be able to physically support them, physically protect them, physically satisfy them, you know, more than anyone in the entire